Have you or someone you know been the recipient of some kind of unkindness or been the target of an online bully? Sadly, this is an experience we have all dealt with at some point or the other, and if not ourselves, someone close or near to us. We can learn some amazing stories from animals and what we can learn from them. And today is no exception. We're going to be talking about a beautiful, amazing, resilient cat. This little cat, while being homeless, he survived in 50-degree temperatures in central Canada. He lost his ears in the process, but he's a beautiful cat. And let's see what lessons we can learn from this amazing cat. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Books with Brigetti. Stay with us.
Thanks for having me on your live show. It was really my pleasure. Your production is just fantastic. Unbelievable how you guys are pulling that off. So organized with segments and transitions and all those different things. Right in line with what I'm talking about in my new book, Going Live. Live stream your podcast to reach more people. Hopefully people tune in for our conversations. Definitely worth the on-demand version, in my opinion, if I may say so myself. You guys are awesome.
I think this might be, I've been on over 24 different podcasts and radio shows in the last couple of months, and this has to be one of the most sophisticated, what the kids that I used to teach call bomb.com shows and presentations that I've ever been on. It looks fantastic.
I love your introduction. How professional. That sounds, I feel like I'm on a beautiful show here.
Folks, welcome.
Available wherever great books are sold near you.
Oh my goodness, Ross, thank you so much.
Thanks. And, this is one of the most fun interviews that I've ever done. So thank you, Brigetti.
Big pleasure. Ross, take care.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You are watching Books with Brigetti, and I cannot wait to invite our amazing guest onto the show today. She's Milkovic Krauss, and she's a cat lover and a pet mom, and she's also mom to 2 children. And Teddy is the real-life rescue pet. His stories are used to raise awareness of preventable injuries, pet care, self-esteem, and disabilities. An amazing, amazing journey. But before I ask Christine to come and join us, one of the things that you will be doing as an author promoting your book, I'm very excited about the opportunities that are open to us as authors these days. Since the pandemic, things have shifted significantly. By the way, this is one of the books, and there's a brand new one that we're going to be talking about on the show today in this series. So if you are wanting to advertise your books out there, opportunities have just sort of quadrupled since the pandemic. And the reason I say that is that as an author, you are no longer limited to marketing your book only in your local library or with local schools. You can now, people have gotten more comfortable to the idea of being online and talking about their work online, which means that you've just broadened your audience to wherever the internet is available in the same manner as what we are doing right now. And so, as I always do with every single show, I share a few tips for you as to how you can level up your online marketing for your book. Now, most of you would be marketing your book using your mobile phone, I imagine, because, it's mobile and you can talk about your book anywhere you go. Now, if you are using your phone, if you're doing TikTok or you're doing Instagram, you would generally hold your phone in portrait mode, which is this mode, and that would be 100% correct because it uses the full screen real estate. And here's a quick insight tip for you. Reels are doing amazing. So if you're wanting to market your book, do reels. They are doing great on Instagram. Share them out on Facebook, wherever you can. And, just with that, a huge big welcome, whether you're watching us on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, over on Amazon Live, Twitch, also over on YouTube. A huge big welcome to all of you. It's great to have you join us here today. So here's a quick tip. If you are wanting to live stream and talk about your book on any of the other platforms other than Instagram and TikTok, turn your phone into portrait mode. Because if you're doing an interview like this, which is on a computer, and going out to places like LinkedIn, Amazon Live, and Facebook, you're going to use the biggest screen real estate here. And if you don't do that, you'll find that on these platforms, you'll end up with those black strange lines on the sides. And this is the reason why. So that's an easy fix. Also a great hack, if you're on the run and you don't have a tripod with you, simply take your phone and sticky tape it with press stick or whatever you can find onto the window. Now, the great thing about that is that you're going to have front-facing light, which is what you always need to have a great online appearance. And your phone will be at the correct 90-degree angle when you put it onto a window with light coming onto you. So those are some great tips that you can use for your online appearance. And then, of course, I do want to recommend, if you're using your phone, you want to talk about your book and hold your book in your hand and page the book. And it's really hard to do that if you're trying to hold your phone in your hand at the same time. So, tripods are not expensive. They're a dime a dozen. There are tons of them. Just find a tripod, put your phone onto a tripod. It'll make all the difference. Now, if you're needing to sort of walk around and be a bit more animated, or, you want better sound quality, you can invest in an external microphone that you can plug into your phone. Just sort of plug it into the bottom of your phone, and you'll get a better sound quality. I love the Rode lavalier microphones, and again, they're a dime a dozen. So you can grab one. But if all else fails, I do want to recommend that you use some kind of an earphone. Now, for a lot of people, they'll use headsets like that, and for some people, that's part of their brand. It's not my thing, but it's going to ensure that you don't get feedback. So again, I love these earphones. They fit just great for myself. That's me. But, they're tons. That'll get rid of feedback issues that you may have. So I do recommend that you use those. And if you are looking to find a great external camera, if you're doing your live streams via your webcam, again, make sure that it's at a 90-degree angle. I love the entire Logitech range. These are one of the early ones, but I'm currently using the Logitech Brio. I've used 920. I've used the 922. It's a great range, and if you've got a DSLR camera, fantastic. But not everyone has that. If you're using your phone to promote your book, fantastic. It works. So let me invite my guest. She's Christine Milkovic Krauss. She's a pet lover, a cat mom, and she's also got 2 beautiful children. I want her to tell the story because no one else can tell the story better about Teddy than her. And hopefully, Teddy will come and visit us. I think she's in the studio there with her mom. So we'll see if she's in the mood to come and say hello to all of us. And Christine uses these stories to raise awareness about preventable injuries, pet care, self-esteem, and disabilities, and also rescue organizations who save thousands of animals every single.
I don't know what happened. Oh. Hello.
Hello, we had a quick technical difficulty going on there, but we're back. I'm so
Yay.
pleased. Hey, welcome, Christine. This is not the way I normally welcome my guests, but we've just had a technical issue, but I'm glad we've overcome that. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you are able to join us. And I'm very excited to talk about the story because it's something that's really, really close to my heart and should be close to the hearts of everyone else. Can we start with just talking about um, how you came upon Teddy? How did Teddy become part of your life and your family's lives? I mean, I'm hoping that Teddy will be in the mood to say hello to us a bit later, but can you just give us a brief sort of overview of the story of Teddy and how he became part of your family?
Absolutely. He is right here with us today, but he is fast asleep. I just tried to wake him up before we went live so that he'd be ready, but he's not having any of it.
He's not having it.
No. So he'll hopefully join us later. Um, Yeah, so I was fostering animals through the Heart and Soul Rescue Organization in my hometown, and we had a litter of kittens, and it just brought so much joy to the house. And once the kittens got adopted to their forever families, I was back on the website looking for our next foster pet to give a temporary home to. And we came across Teddy, and his story seemed very unique. He'd been through a lot. I wasn't really looking for an adult cat at the time. Um, just he hadn't been tested with kids or other animals, so we didn't know how he would be with the children. But we thought we'd give him a shot because he'd been through so much, losing his ears to frostbite and all his other injuries. So once we started fostering him, he just fit in with the family so great. And when the organization told me that they had somebody who wants to adopt Teddy, I just got very protective. I was like, what? Nope, this is my cat. I'm keeping this cat. So I applied to adopt him at Easter 2021. And he's just a source of so much inspiration, and my children's reactions to these uh, quirks that we've gone through with this cat have just inspired these stories. So thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful to be here. Oh, I can't hear you. There you
It's a
go.
big pleasure. I'm so glad that that you're here and that Teddy is here to tell the
Yes.
story because things could have worked out so very, very um, differently, you know. And what would you say it is about Teddy that impacted you and your family the most, that made you feel you wanted to write these books um, and create and raise more awareness about kindness, caring? I feel that since I mean we've all every single one of us have needed kindness and love, and we can't get enough of it. But I feel that since the pandemic, it's become more and more important because there are a lot of mental health issues that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. And every time I see a new story of a life lost too soon, um, I wonder what could we have done differently to be more kinder. um, and this happens to animals as well. It really is heartbreaking. So what is it about Teddy that made you feel you want to make a difference?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. Because I had no idea how common this injury actually was. I live in a very I live in an area where we have a very our climate is pretty consistent. So with these
Cold.
animals, yeah, it's not that cold like it is in central Canada. So these types of injuries are very, very common. And so I wanted people to know this because it was a shock to me to find out. And there are things they can do to prevent these injuries, like setting up a safe space for their barn animals or their outdoor animals so that they have an escape from the cold. And the reason I decided that the story needs to be told is because I was no longer helping out fostering animals, because Teddy is kind of a one cat household, doesn't like to share his space with anybody else, so I couldn't help out that way anymore. So I wanted to just continue to raise awareness and hopefully get people excited about the fostering process and that they could help out without the commitment. Oh, are we still together? Or did that cut out?
That is amazing. I really like that you were helping Teddy recover and regain his sort of normal life. It meant that you couldn't take on any more animals,
Right.
but you're still doing so much good using his story. And
And the
he's such a gorgeous cat. Now, the last time we spoke, you were telling me the impact that he's had on your immediate neighborhood. Talk a little bit about that. What has he done? How's it affected the neighborhood?
yes, so he's a little local celebrity now, and all the kids love him. A lot of the times, mostly in the summer, I'll get kids knocking at the door just asking if Teddy can come out to play. It's very cute, but a lot of the part of the story in Teddy loses his ears is true, is because when I first got Teddy, people would ask me, well, if he doesn't have ears, can he still hear? And so that got me thinking, like, if you were a person with a disability or a uniqueness about you, and people asking you questions, does it hurt your feelings that they're asking you these questions, or do you appreciate it because they're actually interested in learning about your story and hearing it straight from you, as opposed to people talking behind your back or whispering or making rumors? So I think with everything we've learned in the world today is we need people to listen, and you want your story to be heard. So I think it's okay for children to ask those questions.
And it's a whole topic that on its own. Do you ask? Don't you ask? I think traditionally we've been a lot of people didn't ask, and unfortunately that turns into a lot of misinformation and distrust between people. And you find that generally speaking, when you talk to people in the disabled community, they prefer people asking them the questions instead of assuming something of which you really have no knowledge at all.
E-
So
exactly.
education, education, education. And I like that you also mentioned about, feelings. It's important to be cognizant of other people's feelings. And I think the chances of you hurting someone's feelings are more if you make comments that are uninformed.
Hmm. It's so true.
And I like the way that you ask. I mean, I never thought about it until you mentioned it now. You said, one of the questions that people ask is, Teddy, can Teddy hear despite the fact that he visibly has no ears? So there's a lot of lessons in that as well, So you've got two books. The first one is Teddy Loses Ears, which kind of tells the story of how he came into your life and how he's impacted your life, which is this one. So if any of you have not seen this book yet, it is an amazing, amazing book. I just love, oh my gosh, there are just so many cute, 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 cute pictures in here. And I think the last time we spoke, you told me that there's something hidden in every picture. Do you want to tell
Yes.
people what they should be looking out for, or are we going to keep that as a mystery?
No, because kids really love this part. There's Teddy's favorite toy, which is a mouse, and it's hidden on every single page, so the children have a little bit of extra fun searching for that mouse on every page.
There we go. So go and have a look. Go and grab the book. If you are joining us over on Amazon Live, but whether you're watching it anywhere else, in the comments, there is the link to find the book on Amazon. But if you're on Amazon Live, the book is in the carousel. You can grab a copy of this. Now, the follow-up to this one is Teddy Loves Spaghetti. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, so Teddy Loves Spaghetti. Look if you can see it there. It's
I
also a true
love that
story.
cover. It's gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Yeah, all of the illustrations are done by Sierra Van Ness, and they're all hand painted in the story, which is very unique, which echoes Teddy's uniqueness as well, because a lot of stories are graphically designed. So I just want to shout out to my illustrator. We collaborate very well together, and we were able to storyboard these in a way that makes sense, I think. So Teddy Loves Spaghetti is also a true story. All of the stories in the Teddy series are true stories about our time together. So while we were fostering Teddy, before we even decided to adopt him, we were having spaghetti night, and that's kind of one of our favorite meals to have around the family because the kids love to slurp the noodles, and it's just, it's fun.
Who doesn't love
And
to slurp the noodles, right?
exactly. So Teddy just kind of jumped up in between the kids. They sit on a bench at the table, and he just sat in between them and just waited for his turn to have some spaghetti. And I thought this was so funny. And as soon as the kids were done, he like knocked over the bowl onto the ground and just attacked it and went crazy. So we're like, oh my God, Teddy loves spaghetti. And it rhymes, and it was just so perfect. And so we decided to adapt that into a story as well that delves into diabetes awareness, especially in children who are wearing arm monitors, because kids might see these friends at school or at a water park wearing these arm monitors, and they might wonder what it is. Well, now this might answer your questions. And again, it's okay to ask that person about it because, it's very common. And so it talks about pet care and nutrition. Just because Teddy loves spaghetti doesn't mean he should eat spaghetti, because there might be foods in there that are toxic to him. So it
Or
kind of
or that it's good for him,
y-
and they don't know. And I love the topic of raising awareness of diabetes.
thank you.
People do not realize how serious that can be. And for me, that's a very, very personal story because a dear friend lost her daughter to
Oh
diabetes, her
God.
babe, her youngest daughter. So it's a very important cause and something that's close to my heart, that we raise awareness of diabetes and the importance of diet. And I don't think a lot of people realize until you have something like diabetes, how important what you put in your mouth is. Every morsel that you put in your mouth could become life-threatening. You've got to be really, really, really careful.
Yes, absolutely. And I had gestational diabetes with both my children, and when they were babies, they like hours old, their blood sugars were crashing, and they had to take them emergency into the NICU. And fortunately, they are fine and they live normal, healthy lives right now. But also, my nephew is a type 1 diabetic, and so he actually does have the continuous glucose port monitor in his arm, and it is a very complicated disease. Very complicated. So I mean, even me, I've tried to research it and I still have a million questions. So, yeah, the book talks about just that because children have questions, and hey, may as well go to the person who's dealing with it, because maybe they're having a high or low fluctuation, and maybe they're not feeling the best that day, and maybe there's something you can do to help. But yeah, the story just talks about nutrition for yourself and for your pets and how important that is, and alternatives to food-based rewards. I was on a weight loss journey a while back, and it's hard because we associate celebrating and rewards with food. And I really had to change my mindset about that and reward myself with something else. Okay, I lost X amount of weight, so I'm going to get a pedicure, or I'm going to go get a massage, or I'm going to go for a nice walk with a friend. Or I tried to change my mindset to develop more healthy habits. And so that's what I want children to learn as well.
As I was listening to you, I was remembering another friend that I interviewed recently was talking about her own journey with food. And, you talking about it just reminded me, I never thought of food being an addiction
Oh, it
like
absolutely is.
everything else. And so there are groups out there to deal with food addiction.
Mhm.
And it's a serious problem because for some people it's also life-threatening. So I think it's wonderful that you're using Teddy to raise awareness. I mean, these are all very, very important issues that we need to talk about, but it's I like the way that it's introduced into children in a manner that's easy to digest. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, thank you.
But it makes it a fun way for them to learn about health issues and making good food choices, because a lot of those good food choices start at an early age. Are we setting up our children for a healthy lifestyle, or are we setting them up for a lifestyle of future issues because we're not paying enough attention to that? So I think it's, I mean, if for this book to be able to get into schools, for example, I think would be amazing. Have you, are you trying to get it into schools? Is that something you've thought about?
Oh, absolutely. Usually I live in a community with 5 elementary schools, and I know children who go to all of those schools. So usually at Christmas time, because both books have happened to come out in time for Christmas. So last year, I picked a child from every school to give a gift to the librarian, and I'm going to do the same again this year with Teddy Loves Spaghetti. So the kids at the school definitely know all about Teddy. And yeah, I did a field trip with my daughter recently, took them to the beach in the summertime, and all the kids gathered around me like I was some big celebrity and asked me a million questions about Teddy and when is the next book coming out. So that they are connecting with Teddy's story. He is a lovable character, and yeah, the children are connecting with the story, and they understand the layers and the messages there.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Erin Avella, who's watching us over on LinkedIn. He's had a stroke and he's got an amazing story to tell. And, he's sharing awareness of life after stroke and, sharing people's stories. So huge shout out to Erin for raising awareness for stroke patients.
Yes.
So getting back to Teddy and his stories, I think it's wonderful that you could do field trips and get involved with the local schools. I think it must be something amazing for the children who get to interact with Teddy there and have the book at the same time and get to I know this cat and he's in the book.
Yeah, it gets them
I can
very
just imagine
excited.
how excited that must make them quite excited.
It is, and then I get Teddy to potograph every book, so I'll assign it for them, and then Teddy potographs it as well.
Oh my goodness, that is so cute. Oh my word, wow. But yeah, so can you just show us a couple of the pages of the book just so people can see?
Oh yes, absolutely. Let's see.
I love that and also, is it a coincidence that the colors match spaghetti, or is that by design?
Everything's by design. So there's some nutritional facts there, and then also we talk about like carnivores and omnivores, and your animals might like chocolate ice cream or grapes, but it's really not good for them. Signs that your animal could have diabetes, increased thirst, and so we just kind of make it fun for the kids. and then Teddy loves spaghetti, but I don't want to give the ending away too much in this story. But yeah, there are some fun things. Like at the front of the other one, you have to find the real Teddy who's making the healthy choice in the photo. Yeah, and then there's more books to come at the back. So Teddy Gets Adopted will kind of connect with foster children and their feelings about losing their families and not understanding what happened. And it will talk about geography and Teddy's journey across Canada. And the next story will be Teddy Visits the Vet, which talks about going to the dentist and the doctor and being healthy. And also there's a surprise ending at the end of that book. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I know you and I will connect again once these other books come live on Amazon.
Absolutely. I love that. Oh my gosh, you have just chosen some of the most amazing topics. I mean, the one about foster care, you know, my heart broke just recently when I heard a young man expressing how being in the system has affected him. And, you know, there's very little out there to make people feel validated. And, you know, unfortunately, we've had some examples of foster parents who've been really terrible, doesn't even begin to describe the way that they've treated these children. And, you know, to create awareness that that's not okay, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, we'll be touching on that in that story as well. Like, Teddy doesn't like to share a litter box, but it could be a whole bunch of children in a bedroom, you know, in bunk beds, and then maybe that owner has a mean dog, but that just because the owner is going to look, you know, mean himself because maybe the foster father or the foster parents aren't that great. So it is supposed to be something relatable for children because these, you know, when Teddy Loves Spaghetti came out, I've had a few bloggers now review the book and say there's never been another book like this that talks about these topics. So I am very honored that people are, you know, embracing it and understanding the subtleties because it is a story about a cat, but it's so relatable to children and things that they might be experiencing.
And, you know, children don't really have the vocabulary to explain things. And so having a story that helps them make the connection, I think is wonderful because, as you said, there are there's tons, there's thousands of books out there about animals, but it's always just about the animals. Whereas this goes so much deeper than just the kind of animal that the book is about. There are lots of lessons in it, you know, and I think that's the difference here with these books. So I think it's exciting, very exciting, that you are developing this as an entire series. How many books are you planning to do, or don't you know that at the moment?
Well, I know of these 4 for sure. So there will be 4 in this series, but I have so many other ideas that I just haven't formulated into a draft copy yet. But Teddy has emotions. Teddy has an attitude. Teddy, you know, goes on an adventure. These are all true stories that have happened. I just haven't quite got there yet. So hopefully a story every 6 months to a year is about the pace I'm at. But we'll see. I mean, I still have a long life with Teddy, and I think even in when Teddy gets older and passes away, I mean, there's lessons there too, coping with loss. So, I mean, it just depends. This animal provides me with all of the inspiration, and then my children's reactions to those stories always help the writing process for sure.
I'm sure. And how do your children feel about all this celebrity status around Teddy and all the attention? Are they sort of loving this journey as well?
Oh, absolutely. Because in Teddy Loves Spaghetti, it features them in the book as well. So at first, my daughter's like, "That doesn't look like me. That's supposed to be me. Come on, mom." But my daughter has been writing her own stories. She recently wrote a story called "Teddy Makes Spaghetti," and all about him making pasta and dough and getting the sauce and eating. Oh, whoa! I forgot something, and then he put his chef's hat on. So she has always written little stories, and I love that she's getting inspired by it too. And my son will go in front of his class and proudly read these stories, and it's just developing his self-esteem as well, to be able to sit up there in grade 1 and flip the pages of the story and
Wow.
show them to his kids. Yeah, and the teacher films it and sends it to me. So they're both doing great with it.
That's amazing. Are you planning to get your daughter published? I mean, it's wonderful that she's already sort of learning to formulate these stories all by herself, doing her own thing. I think that would be amazing if she could get published too.
Oh, absolutely. She's only 9 years old, so I like her stories are only 3 or 4 pages long, but she'll get there, and I think that's great. Maybe we'll have this that we can do together because she's a great artist as well.
Oh wow! So she would actually absolutely do her own illustrations too. Why not? It's a
Yeah,
great way of we never know what kind of impact that would have later in life for her to be able to say, I was 9 or 10 years old when I published my first book. And there
could
are
you
other children
imagine?
that have done that. And I think it's amazing if we, as parents, encourage this in our children, so that they know, especially girls, they become an unstoppable force in the world when they realize that nothing is out of reach. And being able to say that I started publishing books when I was 9 or 10, I think is phenomenal, because it'll just set her up for, publishing more and more, and sort of realizing that her ideas are valid. But I mean, it to me, just thinking of how this cat Teddy has impacted your family in so many different ways. And I'm excited to see how this book will affect people, not just locally in Canada, but all over the world. Because thankfully, the book it's on Amazon. So, if you're watching, both books are available on Amazon. So, Teddy Loses Ears and Teddy Loves Spaghetti, both books are available, so please feel free to grab a copy of those books. It makes a magnificent gift. It's got wonderful lessons. And oh my goodness, is Teddy waking up? Oh,
Oh,
she,
I just woke him up. He's
Jennifer,
not happy,
did you
but
just gently nudge him there?
yeah.
Oh my
Teddy,
goodness.
what's this? Look up. Look up. Say hi to your fans. Say
Oh
hello.
wow.
Show everyone. Hi.
Oh, he's
Oh.
opened his eyes. Oh my goodness. He's just too cute. He is the sweetest thing since sliced bread.
Oh,
Oh, mommy, I'm so cute.
gives me little kisses. Thank you, Teddy. Aw.
Oh, he is
we,
just gorgeous.
you know
Oh
what?
my,
We hold hands when we're sleeping. He wraps his little paw around my finger, and then we sleep like that. We hold hands.
that is too precious. That is too
It's so
precious.
cute.
Oh my goodness. We don't have a cat at home because my husband's allergic, unfortunately.
Aw.
But my neighbor's cats are here every single day, and they found their favorite spots on the property where we are. And and I discovered that our little Jack Russell have become friends with these two cats.
Oh,
They
that's so
play
cute.
together. My Jack Russell was very territorial initially, but now, I was telling my neighbor they seem to have made friends, and they don't mind each other, and it's just wonderful. And wouldn't it be wonderful if, we all just learned to get along like that, like the animal kingdom, and just realize. I mean, this is one of the things that your book highlights is that we are all deserving of kindness. We are all deserving of love, regardless of the situations we find ourselves in, where we find ourselves. We're all part of a global network of people. I always tend to tell people say, I'm Canadian, I'm American, I'm South African, I'm English. Does it really matter? We're all human, really, at the end
Exactly.
of the day. And if we can move away from that I'm this or I'm that, and just remove those labels and start connecting with other humans across the globe as real people with real feelings, with stories. We all have stories. And, just again, the book highlights the need um, to be cognizant that everybody has got a backstory that you may not know. And so be kind, be kind. I don't think we can say it enough. Always approach a situation with kindness, because even if somebody is angry or upset, you can turn that around with kindness, because you never know what happened in that person's life moments before your interaction.
Exactly.
Something could have sent them on in a spiral, but kindness matters. And that's why Teddy is here. And we've got these two amazing books because of the kindness that was extended to Teddy.
Oh,
Christine, any final words before we say goodbye to everyone here?
Oh, I wish I had some words of wisdom, but no, thank you so much for having me as a guest on your show again and giving us a platform just to reach a wider audience. And your show is absolutely brilliant, and all the design and the publishing and the graphics and everything you do, it's just top notch. I'm always honored to be here with you.
Thank you, Christine. And I really, really would love to have you back as soon as you've got a date for the next one, because I'm really so totally in love with this series.
Oh, thank you.
And, I really would love for that book to get into every single school around the world, because the lessons are really, really phenomenal. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing Teddy with all of us.
Thank you.
Totally appreciate that. So again, all of you for joining us over on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, also over on Amazon Live. Just a huge big thank you to all of you for stopping by today. We totally appreciate you, and we'll see you back on the next episode of Books with Brigetti. But for now, we're going to say goodbye. Take care, stay safe, and always remember to be kind.
Mhm. Bye.
Bye, everyone.